Well, just when we thought we'd be getting a united front, a single school choice tax credit bill, most lawmakers and the governor could get behind. Just 3 weeks in, and we've already seen 3 different versions get introduced. There was Representative Clint Hostetler's personal bill, which thought $250 million was a good price tag. Then yesterday, we saw Representative Wendy Horman bring her tax credit bill to the House Tax and Revenue Committee. $5,000 per student to cover the cost of education, including transportation and tuition, with a cap of $50 million. So it's a bit closer to the target. Then by yesterday afternoon, we saw another school choice bill introduced, this time in the Senate Education Committee. Aspen Shumpert looked into this one today, and it's kind of taking 2 ideas. Correct me if I'm wrong, Aspen, like taking 2 ideas, combining them into one. The money going to families is still there, but it's like squeezing out the tax credit part?
Yep, you're right. And it's going to take some work to do so, including making changes to the state's Empowering Parents programs and how those grant funds are going to be able to be used. Senator Dave Lent, the bill's sponsor, argues there's not a need to make a whole new system when lawmakers could instead expand one that already exists. Idaho's Empowering Parents program allows parents to apply for a grant of up to $1,000. Applications are open to all, but families who make less than $60,000 per year get first access to the funds. The money can be used to pay for state-approved devices, school materials, and tutoring. As it is now, the grant cannot be used for school tuition. Senator Lent wants to change that. He's proposing instead of putting $50 million towards school choice, legislators should allocate $30 million to special education in public schools, with the remaining $20 million added to the state's Empowering Parents program. That addition would boost the program's budget up to $50 million, allowing bigger grants to be awarded to parents. Senator Lent proposes upping the limit to $5,000 instead of the $1,000, but he also wants to revise the language to allow the state-funded grants to cover private school tuition.
The real problem we're facing in the state of Idaho, and the way I've been explaining it lately, is we have great educators, love our teachers, our administrators, but they're working in a box that was created over 100 years ago. By direction in our Constitution, it is our duty to establish a system of schools. And my charge to us, and as we move forward in this legislative process, is how do we reinvent that process so that our public schools can compete? If we want competition, let's level the playing field and let's reinvent this box and maybe turn it into a ball, take off some of those rough edges so that we can actually have benefit to all of the students in Idaho.
Senator Janie Ward Engelking opposed giving this bill a hearing because she says it sounds like a voucher program, an idea she doesn't support. But Senator Carrie Semmelroth says she voted to give it a hearing so there can be a discussion about accountability.
We were told by the governor during his address that he would support a bill that was fair, accountable, responsible, and transparent. But yet we don't have definitions on what those are. So now we get to decide what those definitions are. In order for us to meaningfully and thoughtfully engage in those discussions, we need to have bills that are attempting to do that. So at this time, I will vote to print this bill, knowing that we're talking about vouchers. But in order for us as a legislative body to get closer to agreeing on what we want fair, accountable, responsible, and transparent to look like, this is our starting point.
The bill says in order for a grant to be used on private school tuition, the school must meet certain requirements like maintaining enrollment and performance data, administration of standardized tests, and complying with special education laws. Those are just to name a few. Now, Brian, also included in this law is limiting the reporting requirements for public education. We heard this yesterday from Horman, eliminating those Title 33 rules that the state has and really just getting it down to the bare minimum of what those federal laws are. So that's a similarity between the 2 bills that were introduced yesterday.
Okay, so both of these kind of have some progress going forward. The personal bill probably is not going to go anywhere, but these 2 will at least get a hearing.
Right.
And then figure out what the public wants on these things.
Yep.
All right, we'll pay attention to that. Thank you very much, Aspen.